Welcome to another edition of This Week in Laker Football. I'm Dave Scott. We're here at West Bloomfield High School, joined by the host of the show, Head Coach Ron Bellamy of the Lakers. Hey, Coach.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me on again.
Good to see you right here in this wonderful building. Keeps getting better and better in here, huh?
Oh, yeah, man. This is, the first thing you walk in when you come to the high school, man, it has to be an eye-opener. And they do a great job, man. It's the renovations last year, and the kids come in and design things and they put up their artwork. It's amazing. It's an amazing venue.
I don't know if I should say this on TV in front of the whole world, but, I did go to high school here and graduated a long, long time ago. None of this was here when the building was originally built. And there was kind of a joke amongst the, upperclassmen. Then when the freshmen would come in, we'd say, hey, you got to make sure you get an elevator pass. Well, the big joke, there was no elevator. Now you actually have an elevator in here.
We do have an elevator. We do try to discourage, kids that don't need the elevator not to take the elevator.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure your kids behave a lot better than I did when I was in high school. But thanks for listening to that little story. So tough game Friday night, no question about it. And what are your thoughts after Friday night?
First let's credit Birmingham Groves, Coach Flair, their head coach. He had those guys prepared. They did a great job. They executed what they wanted to, and they were able to win the football game. In regards to us, it was a tough game that, as a coach, the biggest thing is you want to take pluses and minuses from that game. And we had more positives than negatives in that game. But, one of the biggest, takeaways from that game is the turnovers. That's something that has plagued us the last 2 weeks. And against, top competition that we play week in and week out, you won't be able to overcome some of those mistakes. And that's on me. That's on me as the head coach to figure it out and, put the kids in better situations. But, we learn from it. And the second thing is execution. We got to do a better job of executing. That falls on coaches and players. So, we'll figure it out. I'm glad this happened, sooner rather than later. But all in all, the kids' spirits are high, and so are the coaches.
So I know everyone was deeply disappointed after the game. Good to hear you say today, a couple of days after, there was some positives too. In fact, maybe more. What were some of those positives?
My kicking game. My kicking game continues to, play at a high level. Sam Lafada's doing a great job punting the ball, flipping the field position for us. Jake Ward is doing a great job, with his field goals, PATs, his kickoffs, doing those. The guys are doing well in the coverage units. The return units are doing well. So, that's a positive for us. We got off to a slow start the first three quarters outside of Donovan's touchdown. C.J. Harris, he picked it up, in the fourth quarter. And, as a coach, those are encouraging things. Defensively, we had 17 tackle for losses, 6 no gains. Our defense was a pillar against the run game. Another thing as a coach you look at is how do you guys respond to adversity? It's a word we use a lot in our program. And during the course of the football game, we hit a lot of adverse situations. Our kids, we're down 17-7 with a couple of minutes left, and we came back and tied the score. Those kids are going to fight until the score is 0-0, the clock's 0-0.
Yeah, no, that was a great comeback at the end of the game. I think, best offensive drive we've seen with the clock ticking down, and then you guys were able to get back in that game, and then an amazing job on special teams to get back into the game and tie it up. We were going crazy. All the fans are going crazy because I think everyone was pretty much checked out at that point, and you were able to get your team enthused, keep them on board, everyone else, and bring us all along and make it all happen.
Yeah, it's a never quit attitude. We put ourselves in that hole. It's our job to get ourselves out of that hole. And, we ask the kids is to believe in one another and, you play until that clock's 0.
So on the other side of the coin, it is a little disappointing. Everyone had you, ranked as the top team in the state of Michigan. I think this is a fair question. Do you guys think that at the point that you were at Friday night that you're really there at that point right now where you really think that you have the best team in the state? And I hope you don't mind me asking that.
Yeah, we don't. That's not for us to judge. That's the one thing we told the kids when the rankings came out. Like, that's not for you. That's for the media. They have to pick someone. That's for your parents. That's for friends and supporters of the program. That's not for us. And our kids, not one kid, okay, no one's worried about rankings. All we worried about doing is getting better each and every day, becoming better people, becoming better football players, become better students. So we can control what we can control. All that matters is who's number one at the end of the year.
Well, and we're with head coach Ron Bellamy, by the way. This is This Week in Laker Football. Dave Scott, the coach, on TV and on radio on 89.3 Lakes FM. And, Coach, you take a look at it, and you look at where the league is right now. You got Southfield with a loss. Mm-hmm. You got Clarkston with a loss. You got Oak Park with a loss. And you got West Bloomfield with a loss. Mm-hmm. So, hey, I know we're only 2 games into the season, but, there's a great opportunity ahead of you. Go take care of business. Everything will be fine. Yeah,
you take it one day at a time, and we have a new opponent. That game that we played this past Friday, you can't replay that game. Those results are what they are, and you learn from it. Either you learn from it or you don't. And, you try not to put yourself in, similar situations. So, we have probably the toughest schedule in the state. You can't dwell on things that didn't go in your favor. So, our focus is on Southfield, and, they have a great program in their own right. We got a chance to see them a little bit week 1 when they, played Clarkson. They did a great job. And, they had a letdown last week against Lake Orion. So I know those guys are going to be, it's a home, their home opener. So they're going to want to protect their home. So we got our work cut out for us.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about that game before we wrap up today. But, I don't think I've seen a more disappointed football player on the side of the field than Donovan Edwards after that unfortunate mishap on the punt return at the end of the game that resulted in a turnover. No one player wins a game, no one player loses a game. But what do you say to a player like that who's had a tough turn?
You keep your head up. You got 69 other guys on the team rallying around you, and we're gonna pick you up. Like you said, we win as a team, we lose as a team. That one play was not the difference in the game. There's 165 other plays in that game that could have changed the outcome of the game. Donovan's a great player. He's a great kid. It hurt him. It hurt him because he felt he let his team down. But, like I said, we're a brotherhood. We're a strong brotherhood. And, picked him back up. And, Donovan will be ready this week.
All right, Coach, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a minute. We have Jake Ward standing by. We'll talk to him, the standout kicker for your Lakers. Eric Pierce, athletic director, also chimes in with us here on the show. And, of course, more with the coach. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching This Week in Laker Football on Civic Center TV and right here on 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com. Welcome back to This Week in Laker Football right here at West Bloomfield High School. Joined now again by head coach Ron Bellamy and one of your standout players, Coach.
Yeah, Jake Ward. Jake's off to a great start, 3 for 4 field goals, and he's knocked down all of his PATs. So, he does a great job as a kickoff specialist as well. So, Jake's doing a great job. To be expected. He had a full year to do it last year, so he's just continuing to grow and develop.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, Jake, you are a junior, and how many players do you have that sophomore experience and then can come back and play in their junior and senior years and have such a big impact?
Yeah, we're lucky and fortunate. Both our kickers were sophomores last year, and they both are doing a great job. Samuel Lafada being the other.
All right. Well, Jake, good to see you again. It was nice having you on the radio and joining us now here on the TV side. So what's it like to be a Laker?
Just the community is amazing. Like, you have all love and support from the entire team. When you're down, they bring you back up. And when you do your job, you get praised for it.
How did you started out as a soccer player. How did you get into football?
I got into football. Nick O'Shea, he actually used to babysit for my family. And so he would always come over, and then he would talk about how he's kicking. And he was like, oh, you should come out and try it one time. And And I was like, oh, yeah, I'd love to try that. And I went out with him one day in 8th grade, and I've just been kicking ever since.
Did you see that before he, did you see it in your mind before he kind of brought up the idea?
Honestly, no. I never thought I would ever become a football player, ever love or want to pursue a sport more.
All right, and and now you're doing great. I know the coach always says great things about you.
Thank you.
I had a chance to talk to your dad on the radio on Friday night at Family Fun Night, and he's really proud. And he also talked quite a bit about Nick and the influence that he's had on you. But it was good to talk to your dad, and he's got high hopes. I know Coach Bellamy has high hopes. The community has high hopes. How far do you think you can take all this?
I'm just going to keep doing my job. Hopefully the team, I know we can win a state championship this year, and I'm just going to go along with the journey, keep doing my job, and hopefully we'll make it there.
So talk a little bit about that. That's a little bit of the theme of the show here after a real difficult loss last Friday night. How's your head, and what about the other players in your team?
Obviously we're all disappointed. It shouldn't have happened, but we're going to come back and practice this week. We're going to bounce back. We're going to fix what we were doing wrong, and we're going to come out against Southfield on Friday. We're going to come out with guns blazing.
I like the way you say that. Look at your coach smiling over there. So let's go back 2 weeks and talk about the game against Oak Park. You had 2 39-yard field goals, and based on my observation from the press box, they could have made it a little bit farther.
Yeah, I was, again, it's back to the part where I'm just doing my job. I had great protection, good snap, good hold, and I'm expected to get a good kickoff, and I was just doing my job.
So, we're not going to hold this to you, but when you're practicing and just having fun and you're on the field, no one's rushing at you, and you don't have to worry about a perfect snap. How far can you kick that football?
The furthest I've ever hit from with my metal holder is 58 yards.
Okay, well, that's amazing. And that, again, those 39s, they were really amazing. One going in one direction, one in the other direction.
Right.
Wind, obviously, is always going to be a little bit of an issue, but you did a great job. And thinking back to that extra point Friday night, at that point, the team had come back. You were one extra point away from tying a game that was really a challenge for you. What were your thoughts about kicking that extra point as you're getting ready to set up and do that? Was it any different than any other kick?
Honestly, to me, no. To take away the stress and everything, I just thought of it as another extra point. I knew, we make these all the time. It shouldn't be hard. It's just another kick.
All right, Coach, I know you depend on him. We talked about it last week. You're not afraid to go to your kicking game at all in any game situation when the situation calls for it.
Yeah, we practice it probably more than any team in the state. Our kicking game, we take great pride in it. And when you have a kid like Jake kicking and Sammy punting, you have the utmost confidence in those guys that they're going to execute their responsibilities, and they do a good job. So as a coach, you don't hesitate to make those tough decisions that other people may not.
Anything else you'd like to ask him or any other comments about your kicking program or Jake?
No, I'll just tell you, I'm super proud of him. He's managing 2 sports. Just saw that the soccer team's top 10 in the state. So, he's a part of 2 teams that are, having some early success. So, kudos to Jake. Keep it going.
How do you make that work, Jake, with 2 teams playing football and then playing in soccer?
Obviously it's a lot of work with practice and everything, going to football right after school and then soccer practice an hour after football. But, in the end, it's all fun. I enjoy what I do. I love the sports that I play, and I love the people I do it with. So that's really all that matters to me.
You get time to hit the books between all that?
I try. I try my best, yeah.
Is your phone ringing yet? I hope you don't mind me asking, but is your phone ringing yet from potential universities that might want to recruit you?
Not really yet, but I have a few visits scheduled within the next couple months. I work with one of my kicking coaches. He lives out in Buffalo, New York, and he's been helping me with a lot of the recruiting process, and I know the next few months are definitely going to be big months in situation of recruiting.
All right. Well, I want to thank you one more time. I thought you handled yourself really well with a post-game interview after a very difficult loss on Friday night, and now our viewers can see what a classy operator you are. Jake Ward, number 16, Laker kicker extraordinaire. Good luck in the rest of the season. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ron Bellamy, unbelievable, huh?
Yeah, awesome.
These guys are great.
Awesome. Proud of them.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more. You're watching This Week in Laker Football on Civic Center TV and listening right here on 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com.
This hour of programming is brought to you in part by Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. 10 years ago, Henry Ford Health System celebrated the grand opening of its West Bloomfield Hospital. Since then, they've celebrated innovative new technologies, medical breakthroughs, and unique approaches to health and healing. To learn more about Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, visit henryford.com/West Bloomfield 10. Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital is a proud sponsor of Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
50% of bicycle and pedestrian crashes occur at intersections. Look, wait, turn. Wait for people walking and biking before you turn. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
Welcome back to This Week in Laker Football. Joined now again, of course, by Ron Bellamy, the head coach of your West Bloomfield Lakers. And this guy, the athletic director, looks like a model. I mean, look at this guy. He's got a little bit on the face there. But Eric Pierce, athletic director at West Bloomfield High School. Good to have you with us on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always fun to talk with you. I enjoyed our interview on Friday night as well.
So talk a little bit about this coach sitting right next to you, the program, and how you've seen it develop, especially the last couple of years.
Well, you know, you look at Ron Bellamy, and one word comes to mind, and he's a game changer. He really is. But it goes beyond everything that you see on the field. He's definitely the master of his domain out there, but when it comes to the culture that he helps us build here in the high school, I mean, you just don't get that every single day from a person who works in a school. He truly cares about everybody, and it's not just the football players in the school. It's everybody that he comes across in the school as a teacher, as a coach, as a mentor, as a friend. I tell you, I can't say enough about him. I'm happy to say he's one of my buddies, you know, and it's just truly a blessing to have him here at West Bloomfield High School.
Well, it is, and we're obviously in the school right now. Talk a little bit more about the impact of the coach, the players, and athletics in general, and the current culture at West Bloomfield High School.
For sure. Our culture is absolutely amazing here now. Our teams are expecting success. A few years back, that wasn't necessarily the case. We had some teams that were competing, doing a little things. Now everybody wants to go out and they want to perform their best. Our student sections are not just coming to our football games, they come to volleyball matches, they come to basketball games, both boys and girls. And they truly support all of our student athletes that are out there. It's a pride that you see in our students and our student body. You see them all wearing Laker gear now. You didn't see that a few years back. It's all part of the big culture. It's all part of the brand. We truly believe that West Bloomfield is a place for everyone, and honestly, it's Laker Nation versus everybody.
You got a triple X, maybe a 3 or 4 XL in that green and white. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, we call this the Where's Waldo shirt. It's a little bit unique, a little different.
So, no, I mean, we see it. You know, I think the other thing that's really cool beyond the confines of this building is just the impact in the community as well. And we saw that Friday night, family fun night, big crowd, people getting there early. And, you know, Coach, I was looking down at halftime, and, man, there were a lot of people. Eric, I mean, yeah, we had 6,000 for the first contest, and they had a pretty big crowd last Friday night as well.
For sure. And, you know, family fun night's a great night for us to honor all those people who serve to protect us. And it's great to see them out there and to get a chance to say thank you. It's also wonderful to see all the younger schools in our community come up and participate for something at the high school. It's not every day that the elementary school students come up here, and they get to see a lot of the students that they look up to. So it really is truly a nice event that we have.
Do you build anything into your program, Coach, or Eric? Do you build anything specifically for the middle school or kids even younger to come on over and be able to touch your program?
I tell you, one of the things that a lot of people don't know about one of the things Coach Bellamy has started and helped us with is we're involved in a program called Game Changers, where a lot of our football players are actually going down and helping out with students who, you know, might need a little extra help at Doherty Elementary School. They go there, they mentor them, They help them with their homework. They play with them. They're just a listening ear. And the amount of feedback that we get from the players, it's truly amazing. You look at them, and a lot of them will say, hey, that's my favorite thing that I did my senior year or my junior year. And if they come back from their junior year to the senior year, they're like, I want the same kid. Can I get the same kid? I want to see him again.
Coach, how do you build time in the schedule for that? And obviously it's important to you, your players, and the program.
Yeah, the kids, they do a great job of time management as far as balancing their schedules, because it's their time. And most often they do it right after school, and there's times when, we excuse them from being late for practice. That's a little bit more important in football, building character and building true young men.
All right. Anything you got to say about this guy right here?
Yeah, unbelievable, man. I wouldn't want any other AD. He's a friend. He's a brother. He's just a great guy that does things the right way. You have full support of him. Our football program, we know from athletic department standpoint, we're in great hands. And, Eric just continues to develop our athletic program, and he's a staple in our community.
All right, very good. Eric Pierce, good to have you with us here on the show. And we got a long way to go. It's going to be an exciting season. Still a lot of fun coming up. Thank you for being with us.
Yep, thank you very much.
All right, we'll be back with more. It's This Week in Laker Football right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM and lakesfm.com.
Civic Center TV is your home for everything Greater West Bloomfield. Here you can tune into community programming such as our weekly news magazine show, The Splash, as well as coverage of local events and meetings in Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake, and West Bloomfield. You can also watch all of your local programming online anytime at civiccentertv.com. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
We are back this week in Laker football with head coach Ron Bellamy of your West Bloomfield Lakers. And Coach, Friday night is going to be a big contest. First game on the road. You're playing Southfield, and a little early in the season to say it's a must-win game, but it's a big game.
Yeah, we're not going to put that type of pressure on ourselves to must-win game. But, our kids understand what the expectations are. You put yourselves in a hole, losing, one out of the first two games. And, 2-1 sounds a heck of a lot better than 1-2.
You bet.
So, you take losses, and you always got to pick something from that loss to really focus on. And the biggest thing for us is, coming out and, execution. Some days you got to make it about yourselves, and we're going to do that the early part of our week, and then, we're kind of focused on Southfield.
Did you and the team have an opportunity to see any of the Southfield game when they were here, or were you guys too busy getting ready for your game that night?
The boys watched a little bit of it on, we live stream our games here, so they were able to watch it in the classroom, and just for like 30 minutes or so, and they got a chance to see a very talented Southfield team.
Yeah, they are really good. We are really impressed by the way they handled Clarkston. And anything special you're going to be looking for this week from them, and anything special you need to prepare for?
It's a rivalry game. West Bloomfield and Southfield is much like a Michigan State. You have a ton of talent on the football field, and guys want to stake their claim as being the top dog. We want to say that we're the top program, and so do they. And, the kids feel the same way. You got a lot of heralded prospects, in this game. A lot of kids committed to some Power 5 schools. So you're going to see a really good football game that, it's going to be electrifying. It's going to go both ways. And you're going to see a lot of talent on the field. First
game on the road, does that change your routine at all?
Yeah, absolutely it does, especially when you play in Southfield. Typically you play 7 p.m. games. They start their games at 5:30, so you got to change a little bit of the preparation. As far as practice time go, do you get them off their legs a little earlier? Friday they got to get out of school a little earlier so they can do their routine of having a pregame meal. We typically eat 3 hours before kickoff. So it's a lot of things, nuances that you got to change. But we've done it before. Half our kids have played the early game there, so it won't be too much of a change for them.
Yeah, I thought on the schedule it said 7, but it's 5:30
yes,
to start. Okay, which they've always done out there.
Yes.
So you mentioned all that. I just started to think, wow, there's a lot to being head coach that doesn't involve X's and O's and and all the things that we think of, just all the organization and making the machine work, huh?
Absolutely. Like I say, the schedule, keeping the kids, they all about consistency, with their schedules. And, you throw that schedule off, for a loop a little bit. it could hurt you. And we constantly explain to the kids, hey, make sure you're doing this at this time or you're doing this at that time, just to make sure their bodies are regulated to certain conditions and to make sure mentally you're not at a disadvantage when it comes to something that might change in their schedules.
Any health issues? Everyone in pretty good shape? Any injuries after the last couple of weeks that we should take note of?
No, we're good. We're completely healthy, and we're healthy and hungry. The guys they're excited to get back on the football field and to have some success in practice.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you very much. Tough week?
Thanks.
Tough week?
I'd be lying to say if it wasn't tough. It was, us losing on Friday and Michigan driving me crazy Saturday, and then the Lions. That was definitely a tough football week for Coach Bellamy.
Yeah, it was. Final question: is there one thing that you do to get away from all this? It's got to be hard during the football season. You got something to relieve the stress a little bit?
No, not really. Honestly, whenever you have a tough football game that you don't win, the best thing for me is Saturday morning when my kids wake up early in the morning before we have Saturday workouts. Just seeing my kids. I don't really get a chance to see them during the week. Football, we're just so engrossed with what we're doing with our football program. But just seeing my kids, seeing my wife, that just makes it a little better for me. But as far as having idle time, as a coach, there's not too much idle time that you get to yourself.
I can imagine especially during the football season.
Yes.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you very much. I hope we get a big turnout. You want to see the Swamp make their way over to Southfield on Friday afternoon.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll be there. We have the best student section in the state of Michigan, and those guys are going to support us through thick and thin. So we're expecting to see them Friday night.
All right, Coach. Thanks again for doing the show. We're having a lot of fun doing it.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate it. So
thank you,
good to be with you.
Yep.
Head Coach Ron Bellamy, your head coach of your West Bloomfield Lakers. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will be back here again next week. The show airs every week on Civic Center TV, WBTV. We're really glad to now Eric Pierce is able to get the show on the athletic website for the school, so it's there. And, of course, you can listen to it on the radio, broadcasting every day this week at 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So if you can't catch it on TV, catch it on the radio on 89.3 Lakes FM. And, of course, we'll be there live for the play-by-play on Friday night. On behalf of the coach, all of our guests, Tyler Keefe running the whole show behind the scenes. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you Friday night. This is This Week in Laker Football with head coach Ron Bellamy on Civic Center TV and Lakes FM and lakesfm.com.